Probably my second favourite film of all time, Ralph Bakshi's American Pop. It's absolutely fantastic film, this one. Great sort of animation to it and great sort of story. It's sort of about this sort of, I guess in some ways, sort of like one family and sort of the generation of the boys sort of growing up from different sort of time periods, like, father and son, and sort of passes on. We sort of hear the father's story first, and then we sort of go into the son's story, and then here's a son, and there's sort of his sort of son's story, and just sort of through, I don't know, probably not quite true, but not say 1950s to up to 1980s, type thing, just about sort of these men sort of thing, and just about them, about their lives, and but yeah, great film, and yeah, really good. I love that one. Next one's called Rock and Roll, I think from 1983. It's got some good music on it too. It's sort of got Deborah Harry, Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, Cheap Trick, Earth, Wind and Fire. It's actually not a bad. It's actually some really good animation in this film. Actually, it's a bit of a sort of a hard film to describe, I suppose. They sort of got these sort of animals, and they're sort of in this band, and that, I guess in some ways they're trying to become famous. And yeah, plus I won't go basically too much the story until it's a bit hard to explain. But they're just trying to get famous and sort of eat this, sort of make this sort of this rock star, I suppose, in some ways. But he's a bit evil though. So that's rock and roll. A film that I was talking about perhaps in my last video, When the Wind Blows. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. This is sort of the German edition of it. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Sort of a, post-apocalyptic type thing where you sort of got these, as I said before, these sort of two old people, and so the world's about to end type thing. So the government sort of sent out these letters on how to sort of survive the nuclear fallout or whatever it is, and it's just, yeah, a really sort of touching story, I think, just about these sort of very clueless sort of old people that don't really understand that, they're pretty much going to die. There's nothing you can really do to prepare yourself for a nuclear bomb, type thing. But that's definitely a good film, that one. Another Ralph Bakshi film, Wizards, which is a really good film, that one. This one's one called, if I can pronounce it properly, Foot Rot Flats. It's kind of like pretty sure it's like a New Zealand sort of, I think it's basically like a comic book, I think. I'm pretty sure it's like I also think it's sort of like a New Zealand / Australian, type production, I think. Yeah, so basically sort of comic book type thing, and that's sort of like the movie version of that, I suppose. It's actually not too bad. Sort of, pretty sure it's 1980s, I think it came out. Yeah, that's not bad. There's a very nice sort of edition, this one, actually. Nice sort of inside artwork with it too. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Another sort of 80s animation. It's called Star Chaser: Legend of Orion. Which is not a bad film. I think I watched it a few times, and I think sort of towards the end of it, I do sort of start to lose interest in it a little bit. But that's not too bad though. Another few Ralph Bakshi films. This one's called hang on. Let's go. One called Coonskin, which I've never actually sort of seen before. It's a very interesting film, that one. And there's one here called, it says it's called Coonskin 2, but it's actually Hey Good Looking, which is another great sort of film by Ralph Bakshi, I think. He makes some really interesting films. He's a bit sort of hit and miss in some ways, but he does make very interesting films, and definitely films you need to sort of watch once or twice, I think, or at least once. One called The Adventures of the American Rabbit, which is actually not a bad film. Just sort of about this rabbit that sort of finds that he's sort of got superpowers, kind of like Superman, I suppose, but a rabbit version of Superman. But that's not a bad watch, actually. Toys That Save Christmas, another sort of Christmas sort of animated movie, which is actually not too bad, that one. First Snow Winter, which is, I think it goes for like half an hour or something, but that's actually really good, that one. It's got the voice of the guy out of Father Ted, but I think he actually died. I think it's one of his last films he sort of made before he died, which is actually quite sad. But that's pretty good though. Only goes for half an hour though. 2000 Leagues Under the Sea, which I sort of bought cheap. Not a bad film. I think this is like a bit of an old one. I think it might be 60s or 70s. I think it came out, but that's not too bad. The sequel to Heavy Metal 2000, which is it's not a bad film, but it no way compares to the original. Compares to pile of shit, I suppose, compared to the first movie. But it's for an animated film, it's pretty average. But it's, I guess it's not terrible, I guess. But yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is a bit of a classic and sort of mixed between sort of live action and animation, sort of all in the same film. It's not a bad watch. This one's actually a bit of a sort of it's called Cool World by Ralph Bakshi. It's very much like a very sort of rip-off, I suppose, in some ways of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Very sort of similar sort of storyline to it, or at least I think it is. You got sort of Kim Basinger and Brad Pitt and a few other people. Yeah, very weird sort of film. It's I have sort of heard that the film this is not the film that Ralph Bakshi wanted to make. I think he wanted to make a much sort of darker film, and you can sort of see some of that sort of darker sort of animation in the film. But I think the studio wanted him to sort of make a bit more of a sort of a friendly, sort of happier version and a bit more colourful, which is what we got. So it's a bit of a sort of a mess, I think, because it's two sort of styles trying to sort of compete with each other. So that's Cool World. The Iron Giant, which is a great film, a bit underrated in my opinion, I think. Hey Arnold, a great TV show. This is like the movie version of it. Great movie too. I love this TV show when I was growing up. I really need to sort of pick up the DVDs of the TV show. But that's definitely a great TV show and great movie. DVD version of the Final Fantasy movie. Sequel to the Resident Evil Resident Evil Degeneration. This is Resident Evil Damnation. So this is a really good film. This one, really good, that one. Titan AE, great film. Walking Life, which is very similar to the Scanner Darkly film, which we'll talk about before. Sort of another sort of rotoscoped sort of animation, and really great sort of. It's kind of like some of the sort of like short sort of interviews, I suppose, in some ways. You sort of just get these monologues type of thing. Just these people sort of going on these sort of endless sort of rants about things, or just sort of big sort of monologue speech about something, and just really sort of very sort of, I don't know, poetic, I suppose, in some ways, and just sort of makes you think about certain things, and about certain human behaviour, and just all these really great film though. I saw the TV version of a TV show called Samurai Jack. Apparently some guy on the internet I was talking to reckons this film doesn't exist. I think he was a bit of a moron, to be honest. But yeah, this is okay. I didn't think it was necessarily that fantastic. Batman Under the Red Hood, which I've never sort of seen before, but I have heard a lot of people recommend it though. Ryan, which is like a kind of like a bit of a tribute, I suppose, to the animator Ryan Larkin, who was a very talented artist. I think back in the 70s, and he developed a bit of a few addictions, sort of drug addiction and drinking addiction, and he's a bit of a sort of sad life. But he was a very talented man before he sort of found drugs and alcohol. This is a definitely good one, actually. One I've never sort of seen before. How do we say that? Metropolis or something? Looked interesting though. Sort of CGI. Doesn't necessarily look the greatest animation, but doesn't look too bad. I think it's a few sort of German sort of shorts, I think. That one there. Hellas and Bachelor Animated Classics. I think it's called, yeah. Caboodle Volume 1, I think it's got a bunch of sort of short Australian sort of animation, so that's sort of why I picked it up. I haven't sort of seen it yet, but did look interesting. great sci-fi cartoons, which is kind of like a mixture. It's got like a Batman on there, and what have we got? Yeah, Batman and Superman and the Lone Ranger. I feel there's just sort of like single episodes, I guess, from really old sort of serial cartoons, I suppose, in some ways. Going with the movie, which is a good sort of fun sort of watch. I love the TV show when I was growing up. Secret Adventures of Tom Thumb, which is kind of like a sort of stop clay animation, a bit sort of strange sort of movie. This is sort of one of the very first sort of manga, I think, ones to sort of come out. This is sort of one of the very first ones that I sort of remember hiring out from the video shop. Yeah, sort of weird sort of stop animation. Yeah, a bit odd, that one. Harvey Crumpet, which is an Australian animation, which I've never actually seen this one, but it's supposed to be really good. It's sort of about a very sort of sad character who's got Tourette's syndrome, and he also gets Alzheimer's disease, and yeah, I've heard it's a bit sad, but it's a good film though. I think this one's called Strings, which is kind of like the entire film's sort of shot with all these puppets, and they sort of tell this story. And it's a really well done film, and I have sort of read somewhere that it was, I think, like $1 million over budget or something, because it's a pretty a big sort of film to make, because you've got all these sort of puppets, all these strings, and it would have been a nightmare to make, I reckon. But definitely a very good film, that one though. Then we got sort of Wind in the Willows, which is this is kind of like this is not the complete set or anything, but it's just got some of the sort of best episodes, I think, of the TV show. This is one of my childhood favourite TV shows growing up. I sort of really love this show. It's an excellent TV show, that one. But I do sort of have pretty sure this is like a pirated version, but this is a complete sort of set, the entire TV show. Yeah, Wind in the Willows. Then we got some Asterix sort of DVDs. This is not the complete set or anything, but just the adventures of Asterix and Obelix. I remember sort of reading the comic books when I was a kid, so definitely want to sort of pick these up. The complete sort of Neon Flux animated TV series. I think it's like one of the very first sort of original sort of MTV animated TV shows, I think, that sort of came out on MTV. King Kong, the animated series. Garfield ones, Garfield Fantasy, which is I have watched. I think I'm pretty sure I watched a bit of this anyway. It was pretty good. Holiday Seasons. Then we've got Ghostbusters, the animated TV series. That's sort of volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. I'm pretty sure there's more volumes to that, but I think I've only got the first 3 at the moment. Aladdin on DVD. Pinocchio. Fantasia. Black Cauldron. Oliver and Company. And finally the last DVD, one called Still Luna. Then I've just got a few VHSs to watch to show quickly. One called The Missing Link, which I think from 92, I think, or maybe before that. But I'm not quite sure actually. I'm pretty sure it was 1980. This one, just sort of about sort of the dawn of man, sort of thing, and how sort of man was created. It's a bit of a sort of comedy, sort of a twisted version, I guess, of how man was created, type thing. One here called Zoolympics, which is a very hard one to find on DVD. Well, you can buy it, but it's very expensive. I saw this for like 20 cents on video, so I thought I'd just grab it. And it's actually a really sort of fun sort of watch. Just about this animals sort of competing in the Olympic Games. It's really sort of funny and yeah, great review, that one. Another Ralph Bakshi film, Fire and Ice, which is a a very good sort of sword and sorceress, you know, type movie with really sort of gritty sort of rotoscoping animation. That's a really good movie, that one. I'm a bit of a fan of Wallace and Gromit, so this is the very first sort of 3 adventures, just on video. It's got like a really nice sort of box set type edition for it. They've got Close Shave, a video version of the American Rabbit, Algero Non Troppo, which is what I was sort of talking about before. We've got Dino Riders, one of my sort of childhood favourites, this one, a great TV show, that one. One I sort of picked up the other day, which I've never sort of seen before. It's called The Snowman, I think from, pretty sure 1980 something. 1982, I think. But I have heard it's very good though, so that's sort of why I picked it up. I think it's got the music by David Bowie too, I think, in it, yeah. I think I just sort of show these last couple, I think in a few videos before. Captain Harlock, which looks like a fun sort of anime sort of classic, that one. Jack and the Beanstalk, which I think looks like a bit of sort of perhaps a mixture between live action and animation. And then finally, Mowgli's Brother, which looked like a bit of a fun sort of watch, so I picked it up the other day. Right, so that's my entire, well, I'm pretty sure there's perhaps a few, I'm pretty sure I've got some more videos somewhere, but that's pretty much my entire animation collection. I didn't realize it was actually going to take me that long to sort of show it, so I'm off to break this video up into a few parts, I think. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hope it wasn't sort of too long for you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm sure we'll be back very soon with another video for you. So for now, bye. I just realised I actually sort of forgot to show something actually. So this is like a sort of a Lord of the Rings, Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings animated sort of box set, which I sort of bought just on eBay, I think. It didn't actually sort of come with the DVD, but it did sort of come with everything else, the box and the poster and the little book. But this is actually not a bad little set, actually, that one. Yeah, so you sort of get a poster in it, just of the movie poster. It didn't sort of come with a DVD, but I did sort of buy this one just sort of separately, just off eBay, and just sort of put it in the box to sort of, you know, complete the set. It's sort of one of those really old sort of, you know, slipper discs, whatever you call them, flipper discs. Like that. Then you got the sort of the book with it as well, which is pretty cool. It also comes with a little sort of movie stub as well, which I thought was a pretty cool touch. I think this is from I think they did like a re-release of this movie. I think back in the 90s. I think, was it 90s? Oh no, 2002. But that's pretty cool to have as well. Yeah, so that's it.